So I saw a really fun question on Twitter the other day. It's one of my favorite polls, if you will, on Twitter the other day, and basically it was asking for us to post our favorite random Knicks player. So all kind of crazy and really dope names, from Chris Copeland to Pablo Prigioni, all kind of dope names. I had a two-part answer because these are two names that to this day, I mean, one of them we've not heard from a long time, but every time I see this other name, I get excited and happy to see that he's still out here achieving his dream and out here hustling and grinding in the league. And the two names I put up were Langston Galloway and Torrey Murray. Yes, Torrey Murray. I had faith. I will never back down from the fact that I had faith in Torrey Murray. And there's so many names. That's one of my favorite things. I love talking about the random guy. I know we always talk about, the big names, the ticket sellers and stuff like that. But I love talking about the random guy that, is working hard and then has those kind of like heroic plays, or it has that cult following. I have a good time with that. A lot like Frank Ntilikina and stuff like that. I think those kind of players are a lot of fun as well. So seeing that question really brought me back. But how do I transition that to where we are right now? From random player to possible key players to the team, the Knicks right now are amidst the smoke screens of the rumor season. Yes, the rumors are flying all over the place. Matter of fact, I'm writing down each and every name whenever they pop up on a Twitter feed, whether it is a Woj, whether it is a Shams, or whether it is a Joe Schmo that lives under with the Mo. I couldn't think of a name. Donovan Mitchell, Malcolm Brogdon, Rudy Gobert, Russell Westbrook, John Wall, new name that joined the party a few days ago, D'Angelo Russell. Yeah, all of these guys, or one of, or two of, or three of, or some of these guys will be New York Knicks by the end of the offseason, right? Well, let's talk about that. Run the intro. What's going on, CK Crew? It's your boy CK2K. Welcome back to another video. Have not said that in a long time. Yes, it has been a month. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Do not forget to like this video. Before we get into the video, guys, just because I haven't uploaded here for 4 weeks, I've still been very active here on this YouTube space. I've been telling you guys every video to go and subscribe to my other channel, CK, where I live stream regularly over there. We do all kinds of stuff, from reacting to stuff, TikToks, YouTube videos. We talk about the Knicks. We talk about basketball and football all the time over there. It is a dope vibe. It's just a fun variety channel where we just hang out, and that's what we do over on that channel. So show some love, subscribe to the other channel, and be a part of that, as well as being a part of the 2K Crew over here. All right, links in the description, you know the vibes. All right, let's talk about this start of the off season. Yes, I have not posted for a few weeks because I just needed a break from the Knicks, and I mean that in the most healthy way possible. I love this team to no end, right? Let me get this rant out of the way. I ranted about it last night for a few hours. If you guys subscribe to the other channel, you would have seen the rant, but I guess that's exclusive for the people that like to listen in this part of the video. But yeah, I took a few weeks off of the Knicks just because I just needed a break. Last season was a roller coaster of emotions. We went from a lot of people believing we'd win 50 games to myself believing we'd win at least 44 to 46 games, to not being much of that at all. We saw Julius Randle take a complete 180, almost at 360, but that makes no sense. We saw RJ Barrett make strides, but still, get a lot of hate from fan base. We saw, draft picks that we are very excited about get, buried underneath veterans that should not have been playing, and then finally show up, but at too late of a point in the season. We saw Obi Toppin show who he probably could have been if he had played from the beginning of the season, but people are gonna chalk it up as he needed time to develop. I think that's BS. I think Obi Toppin's always been that good because he looked exactly like how we looked from Dayton, but that's neither here nor there. It got to a point where I'm getting the DMs, I'm getting the comments, I'm getting all kinds of ats and everything like that on social media of different questions. What should the Knicks do? Who should the Knicks sign? Who should the Knicks trade for? And I'm looking at these, and I would start to answer, and I think to myself, I'm just like, bro, I honestly just do not know right now. A lot of things that we see as fans as common sense, for whatever reason, and other teams will be doing the same thing and are in the playoffs right now, for whatever reason, when it comes to the Knicks, we don't like to do what makes sense. I'm watching the Grizzlies right now, which is a predominantly young team with a younger coach that understands that he has talented guys long term, but he also mixes in the Kyle Andersons, the Steven Adams. Like, he mixes in these veteran pieces that can run with these younger guys that are doing well. Now, I understand that they are talented, but a lot of the talent also comes from confidence. You have a coach that has confidence in you and lets you run. The talent then shows up thereafter. Ask RJ Barrett, ask Obi Toppin. Confidence is a hell of a drug in the NBA, and with a team like the Memphis Grizzlies, there's tons of confidence just oozing from this team, and it starts with the head coach and the team. Now, I understand I'm going to hear the crowd, people saying they're a small market, they're forced to play like that, but I've also been echoing on this channel that the Knicks need to act like a small market, because we don't make plays nor get players or get people like a big market that we are supposed to be. So we should be acting as a small market. And the thing is, we have young pieces that could be doing similar things. If you still are going to look at me and say, no, we don't, the hell did we just watch at the ending part of this season? The frustration with that really set in. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to enjoy good teams play basketball right now. And we'll get into it around the lottery time, and we'll start talking about what we need to be doing this off season. So yeah, I took a few weeks off. So I appreciate all you guys are still rocking with your boy. And again, I say that with peace and love, just like family. Sometimes you just need space from your family in certain situations. In no way, shape, or form am I saying that I'm sailing ship and I'm leaving the Knicks and It's nothing like that. Don't turn this into a more emotional thing than it is. I just needed a few seconds to myself to not be thinking about this damn team that is going to do whatever the hell they want, when we got a whole fan base of intelligent people that all see what the Knicks should be doing, but they decide to do something else. You know what I mean? So I just needed a few moments to myself before we got into this exciting offseason, and exciting it's been so far, because we've heard already so many names tied to the New York Knicks. And I just realized I named a bunch of people and I forgot none other than Mr. Jalen Brunson, who has been tearing up the playoffs right now as a key benchmark, where a lot of Knicks fans are looking at him already as a future Knick, and they're scheming and plotting whether or not he fits or he's not going to fit in this, that, and third, when it's not a done deal that he's going to be coming to us in the first place. He could take less money. He won't, but he could take less money to stay, or the Mavericks could overpay him, seeing that him and Luka could be a combination. There's a lot of things that can end up happening. As a Knicks fan, I've learned to look at things that way when it comes to free agency and the draft. But let's talk about the names that we've seen right now, specifically names like Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. Now, there's an argument for both players that the Knicks could make moves for both players this offseason. Not at the same time. I'm talking about one or the other, because a Rudy Gobert move is definitely possible with the unknown situation with Mitchell Robinson. Right now, we don't know what the case is going to be with Mitchell Robinson. He's definitely going to get offers in the offseason. We've heard about it from other teams and the interest in this, that, and the third. The question is how much he's going to be offered and how much we're going to have to offer to keep him here, if that's what the Knicks want to do. So if the Knicks don't want to do that, doesn't make more sense to then fill in that void of Mitchell Robinson than trading for a guy like Rudy Gobert, who a lot of people believe is the easier to move of the two when it comes to what the Jazz are trying to move around. And yes, there are a lot of positives in bringing in Rudy Gobert here. Definitely fills that void for being a threat in the paint defensively. Definitely a rim protector. A lot of stuff that we did get from Mitchell Robinson, but to a defensive player of the year type caliber. A lot of things could come from Rudy Gobert coming to the New York Knicks. A combination with him and Evan Fournier, if you want to go that far. I wouldn't, but there's that for some of those people. I feel like we could fill that need if we do lose Mitchell Robinson in the draft. I feel like where we are picking at 11, we can get guys like Jalen Durant or other kind of guys, or what's his name, Williams from Duke. Like, there's kind of guys like that can fill that void for a lower price tag if we are not able to retain Mitchell Robinson. I feel like there's other avenues that we can go, and Rudy Gobert isn't that kind of guy that comes here and completely changes the team, because for a guy like Rudy Gobert to be of value for us, I still think we need to fill that point guard role. So if there's anybody we would go for, it would be somebody that can go and get their own bucket, like his co-star Donovan Mitchell. Now, the thing with Donovan Mitchell is people are arguing right now that there's no way that the Knicks can get Donovan Mitchell without putting RJ Barrett in the running. And I disagree with that. I definitely feel like there's a lot of different routes you can go to get Donovan Mitchell without adding RJ Barrett. But unfortunately, it's going to be at the cost of losing one or two of your favorite younger pieces or draft picks or both. If you do end up trading away a guy like Emmanuel Quickley and and these are just examples, but trading away Emmanuel Quickley and a guy like my guy Quentin Grimes to get a Donovan Mitchell and draft picks and whatever else you give up, but then you still have Obi Toppin. Think of it this way. Imagine if you kept those two players and got Donovan Mitchell. Let's be real here. What are the minutes going to be looking like? Maybe IQ's minutes stay about the same because he'd be coming off the bench, but what does Quentin Grimes' minutes look like with the other build of this team, with Alec Burks still in the rotation, with Evan Fournier still in the rotation, RJ Barrett? What does Grimes' actual role look like with this team with a guy like Donovan Mitchell? So you have to look at it that way as well. You got to give to receive a big name like this. I don't think that the Knicks get it done. I think there's going to be a lot of fodder around that. I think ultimately if they do blow it up, I think Gobert is the one that goes, but Donovan Mitchell stays. I hope I'm wrong. But yeah, I think that there is an avenue for us to get Donovan Mitchell without having to include RJ Barrett in that deal. Possibly Julius Randle. I mean, Julius Randle would be a nice fit over there. They had a guy named Paul Millsap that was running and Carlos Boozer that, played some phenomenal basketball for the Jazz, and another guy that was named Karl Malone. Fours run really well in Utah, so maybe Julius Randle can go over there and implement his name as one of the great Utah fours. But yeah, there's the Jazz guys that we can get. Then there's also this, I'm gonna dead these ones right now, the Russell Westbrook and John Wall. So Stop. I don't want no parts of anything Russell Westbrook. I'm not here to help the Lakers. There is a part of me that believes that Russell Westbrook, if you're flipping Russell Westbrook for Julius Randle, if I have to deal with one of the evils, there is a world where Russell Westbrook could actually be a nice piece with this New York Knicks team if he just focuses on the facilitator role with a little touch of the attacking the rim. But that's a gamble I don't want any part of. Because if that goes wrong, that's going to be the most Knicks thing possible. And that same argument goes with the other guy, John Dougie Wall. It's the same kind of situation. John Wall has not played solid basketball in 2 seasons, and his contract is ugly. If John Wall's contract looked like Kemba Walker's, I'm like, yes, let's take that gamble. Because John Wall, when you see some of his videos and stuff, he still looks like he has game. But how much of that at an NBA level? I don't want to take that gamble, 1, and 2, for that price tag. Again, look up the price tag if you do not believe me. So I'm dead in those right now. Like, there is a world, like, in 2K, I would take that gamble. I'm gonna tell you right now, I would take the Russell Westbrook gamble. But that's because I can then control Russell Westbrook. I'm not leaving Russell Westbrook at his own devices. I can control with my controller. But in real world, I don't know if I'm taking that gamble. That's not the route I'm going. Now, for some lesser deals that I'm intrigued in, but still very skeptical about, and that is Malcolm Brogdon and D'Angelo Russell. Now, we just recently heard the rumor about D'Angelo Russell being tied to the Knicks. We saw how D'Angelo Russell, unfortunately, people are really saying that he sold a little bit in that series in the playoffs. But to me, honestly, I just feel like in all season you kind of saw it. His fit with that team is weird. I think they need more of a pass first like point guard to go with guys like Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. I don't think they need another scoring guard. I think that almost hurts their game. Now, if it was one thing, if it was D'Angelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns, first of all, that's not much of a playoff team, but they would both have solid stat lines if they were the only ones together. But you add Anthony Edwards in that situation, I think that's a lot of what hurt D'Angelo Russell's game. And another thing too about D'Angelo Russell, y'all remember when he was a playmaker? Y'all remember that D'Angelo Russell? I mean, coming out of Ohio State, the dude was known to be a flashy passer, a playmaker, a guy that, got other people going, but also had this smooth jump shot, this smooth way about him of getting to the rim. What happened to that guy? Well, I missed that guy. That was the guy I was hoping that the Knicks were going to trade up and get in draft. What happened to him? Now he's just this streaky scorer that sometimes can pass the ball. Am I crazy? Am I tripping? Y'all remember Ohio State D'Angelo Russell? What happened to him? So I'm a little intrigued by it though. Like, I feel like it's a lesser move. I feel like it could be a good reward. I mean, if it's a move that includes Julius Randle, which it possibly might not. I don't know. Maybe there's a world where you keep Julius Randle and it just takes, some draft picks and a younger piece because of the attraction value. There's so many ways that you can go about a move that gets D'Angelo Russell. And then I'm just looking at it like fit. Like, could him and RJ Barrett work? I think they could. Could him, RJ Barrett, and Julius Randle work? I don't know. Like, I'm intrigued, but I'm scared about that kind of a move. Like, is that the move that we should be ultimately doing? And then I know you guys are looking at me like, are you scared to make a Malcolm Brogdon move? Yes, I am. We talk about injuries. Malcolm Brogdon is the king of injury, and I love that dude as a player when he is on the floor. But I feel like I've watched more Pacers game with him not playing than with him playing, and it's been like that for a long period of time. Unfortunately, some guys are just injury prone. Now there's a belief and a hope that magically he comes to the Knicks and he's able to play, which would be phenomenal. Of course, I would love to have Malcolm Brogdon on our team because beggars can't be choosers. But man, there's a big fear there that we can make a move for him for his contract, and then ultimately don't get a lot of Brogdon on the Knicks. That just, again, seems like a very another Knicks thing to do. Now, I'm intrigued by it because of the player and because of who he is, but man, am I worried about it. So Brogdon and D'Angelo Russell I'm looking at with, maybe. And then the Jalen Brunson thing. Jalen Brunson, it's ultimately going to come down to, are we going to sign him over Mitchell Robinson? It's also ultimately going to come down to, are the Mavericks going to get rid of contracts so they can make sure they keep him? I think the Jalen Brunson situation is definitely somebody that we should go after. There's no way around that. If you're really still sitting there thinking to yourself, I just don't think he fit. Shut up. Shut up. Jalen Brunson makes sense for this team. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. A guy, like I said at the top, confidence is a hell of a drug. A guy like him who is attacking a team, even though, yes, the shot has been a little bit inefficient here in this first round, but the guy has continued to attack, and that helps guys like Doncic and the other guys around Finney-Smith, like all these other guys, to be able to play their game when you have a point guard that is going to be aggressive like that, but then also be able to control the offense. I've already loved Jalen Brunson as a player, but a lot of those things expanded in a playoff setting where you see a lot of players get worried when Luka Doncic wasn't playing. A lot of guys can get worried, like, oh no, like people thought that the Mavericks were done, but Jalen Brunson did what he had to do. Jalen Brunson's been a leader in every level that he's played: high school, college, and now here in the pros. Yes, he's an older, younger player, but at the same time, he's definitely a guy that can be a bucket getter and a guy that can rein the Knicks in at the point guard position, which is definitely what we want, point guard. So I definitely believe that the Knicks should throw their hat in the Jalen Brunson conversation, but I'm very interested to see how the Mavericks handle that. I understand that they're a little over on cap, but will they flip, guys like Tim Hardaway Jr.? Will they flip some of those contracts to make sure that they can secure them? That's definitely a possibility. Will there be a sign and trade? There's so many things that could happen, but definitely eyes on Jalen Brunson. But like I said, it is trade season, so you're going to be hearing a lot of things. I didn't even talk about Tyus Jones. Personally, I like the Tyus Jones rumors because even if, let's be real, there's not a lot of big fish in free agency this year. Hell, there's not even really that many big fish in the draft this year at the point guard position. And last year, we started Alec Burks at point guard. We have a guy like Emmanuel quickly on the team. You get a Tyus Jones who is not going to be a superstar point guard option for us, but he is a point guard option for us. We don't have many point guard options on this team, at least capable point guard options on the team that's not named Emmanuel quickly, and we don't know about Deuce just yet. Shout out to Ryan Arcidiacono, but you're not that guy, you know what I mean? So you can go the route of starting him for a portion of the season, or maybe Tom Thibodeau finally throws his trust on Emmanuel quickly after how he ended the season, and then we have a solid backup in Tyus Jones for us on this team. So I like that rumor of Tyus Jones. Of all of the rumors and smoke screens we've seen, I like the Tyus Jones one. Forgive me. I like that because I've said it all the time. I would love, if it was me, I would love to play with the youth and build by getting free agents that help boost up the youth instead of hurt the youth by needing minutes ahead of the younger guys. That's what I would do. And Tyus Jones is one of those guys where he can get minutes but does not need to start, and then we can see how Emmanuel quickly looks for as a starter for the Knicks for a longer period of time. So I like Tyus Jones rumors. That's just me personally. But let me know your thoughts about everything in the comments below. Are these trade rumors real? Are these trade targets real? What are you giving up for them? Are you giving up anything for them? We're back and we are starting up the off-season stuff here sporadically. I'm not gonna say we're going all in on off-season content just yet, but we're gonna start it sporadically. We have the draft lottery coming up soon. We're gonna talk about prospects for us around the spot that we're going to be, which is most likely going to be 11, unless there's some stroke of God and luck that we're able to jump up in the draft. But most likely we're going to be selecting at 11. What makes sense for us at that spot? We'll talk about that here in a few videos. So So I appreciate you guys so much. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Do not forget to like this video. I'm telling you guys, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, your boy's streaming on CK. Y'all hear it, but you don't do anything about it. Go subscribe to the channel. Be there for those live streams. It's dope. We have a lot of fun over there. A shout out to the crew that goes over there. We have a lot of people that do show up to those streams. Go over there and join the conversation. All right, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let's get it. I say it all the time. I've said my piece. Now I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say. A lot of trade targets. Are you believing them? Who should we go after? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm out of here. See you guys next one. Peace.
Cold pizza Tuesday. I got food up in the fridge. Y'all keep looking for that new wave. I think I like it how it is.